Remember in issue 1 of Immortal Hulk when the robber asks, "I'm a good guy, right?" That's basically what the comic book industry is asking right now. Hey everyone, I'm Chris, and I'm going to be talking about good guys. Oh boy, they're just so goddamn good. So recently in the comic book industry has been hit with allegations and accusations of sexual harassment and abuse by various comic pros, most notable being Warren Ellis, and as a result, his one shot for Dark Knight's Death Metal has been taken off solicits. Whether it will be swapped with something else or replaced with a different writer, at the time of recording, I do not know. But the comic book industry, like any corporation that wants to be on the good side, is in damage control. So infamous Batman writer and master of depression Tom King posted this: "I pledge to say no to abuse. What am I, Canadian? I pledge to say no to abuse, harassment, grooming, and manipulation of women and all people of marginalized genders/sexes. Are you with us? Take the comics pledge with me. Post this graphic and message in a new tweet. Don't just retweet. With this picture. Men in comics say no. There are a lot of ideals we claim to honor in comics: hope, justice, unity, innovation, creativity, freedom. None of them mean anything unless men in comics change our behavior and hold each other accountable for the safety of women and of all people of marginalized genders and sexes. I pledge to never abuse, harass, groom, or manipulate women and all people of marginalized genders and sexes, to hold myself accountable for my actions, be open to the comments and concerns of my peers, and educate myself, to actively intervene when we see or know of abuse, harassment, grooming, or manipulation, to ally for women and all people of marginalized genders and sexes experiencing abuse, harassment, grooming, and manipulation, to actively call out our friends and peers even when no one else is watching, to commit to this pledge for the long haul and keep this conversation alive in the industry." And then there's a little annotation at the bottom: "We understand marginalized genders and sexes to include, but not be limited to, non-binary and binary trans people, two-spirit." What the fuck is two-spirit? What is that? Honestly, this is the first I've ever heard of two-spirit. What the hell does two-spirit mean? Is, oh, I am a body of two spirits, my own and the ghost of Harry Houdini. I'm hoping by the time I unlock my 50th chakra, I can have a third spirit to add to it. Ooh, spicy. Agender and gender fluid people, as well as intersex people of any gender. Hashtag comics pledge. Now, I know this is probably not his intention, but this does come off as someone who's trying to hide something. Someone who goes out of the way to post something like this is definitely someone who does the exact opposite of what they're pledging not to do. You see this a lot with like a lot of male feminist allies. They'll say, "We don't sexually abuse, or we don't abuse or harass women in any nature," and then lo and behold, they actually do that. Wow, what a shamalama ding dong of a twist that was. So I do feel like this is just Tom on behalf of like the comic book industry going into damage controls and kind of to show we're the good guys, but we're not all bad, and we're gonna learn how to be better. The thing is, he didn't need to post this. Actions kind of speak louder than words, so actually doing that, so holding people accountable for harassing women, etc. You don't need to make this whole kind of grandstand on Twitter, make it all public that I'm for women, I will protect them, I am the white knight they deserve. It does really come off as like to show that I'm a good guy, everyone, look how good I am. It's like when someone kind of posts like they've donated to some cause just to brag about it. It does really come off like that. Like, if I'm going to donate to something, I don't need to make this huge spectacle that I donated money to a cause. And look at me, look how good I am. Look how much of a decent human being I am. Just go live a normal life. You don't need to brag about it. You don't need to post about it. Just practice what you preach. Which is funny when we come to Mark Waid. So Mark Waid, infamous wall puncher and tantrum haver, is somebody that follows these pledges, except for one part. So if anyone remembers the whole Eddie Berganza situation, which was similar to what was going, I believe something similar to what's going on with the current allegations and accusations. So Mark, in response to all of this, said that back in this was a few years ago, I think it was, but Mark put up a tweet saying, "The strong protect the weak, and that's the rule. If you have the ability, you have the responsibility. The world's simply a better place when we have each other's back." And when somebody asked him about if he knew about Eddie Bergenza's behavior in the whole situation, Mark replied with, "The entire solar system knew. I went to him, I went to his bosses, I cautioned every woman I could. That's the best I could do. I could have taken out billboards, but losing a libel suit helps no one." Okay, so it's fine to be to spread awareness of someone that is abusing or harassing women, unless it affects you negatively. And it's funny how he says he probably would have got a libel suit against him for telling the public that this was something that's happening, but saying in the same sentence that everyone knew that this was happening. Everyone in the comic book industry knew about the Eddie Bergenza situation and what he was doing. No, as he said, he went to him personally. Don't know why. He went to him, he went to his bosses, and he went to every woman he could to warn them of Eddie Bergenza. But he couldn't bring this out to the public because libel suit. If everyone, I'm not much of a lawyer. I've watched 2 episodes of Suits. Not particularly knowledgeable in the field of a law degree, but I'm pretty sure if everyone knew this was happening, meaning that it's something that is true, you're probably going to win against the libel suit, or you wouldn't have one in the first place. It's just this whole fake pseudo, I'm a good guy, but only in certain situations. So straight off the bat, Mark Waid has found an obvious loophole in that comics pledge. You can do all of this stuff unless it affects you negatively, and then fuck them, pretty much. Hey, it's not. Hey, it's my career on the line. Why should I care if you're being abused? So, so going back to the whole posting about this, making it such a big deal to show that you're such a good guy, also goes to another matter that getting like your political beliefs, etc., from companies. So, given the whole situation that's going on with Black Lives Matter and all that, there are a lot of corporations, companies, etc., showing their support, or even with like, let's say Pride Month, like corporations and stuff changing their logos on like social media to have a rainbow in the background, because apparently that's the best they can do to support the LGBTQ plus crowd. Is like, look, we have a rainbow, look at us, we're Xbox, we put a rainbow behind the X, we definitely like you guys for June. But that's it, literally, that's it, that's the best we could do. It just, this weird moral like grandstanding, it just it's idiotic, and a lot of people take it seriously is if they don't see a certain like company that they endorse or they buy products from, etc., speak up about a matter, show their support for a matter, or show their support against a matter, they just drop the company entirely. So, for example, I can't remember the name, this guy took all of his games off Steam because Steam was silent on the whole Black Lives Matter situation that's currently going on. He's just like, I can't support Steam, I don't want any of my games on their platform because they are staying silent on a political matter. Despite the fact that Steam is about games, not about politics. That's like wondering what the political beliefs are of McDonald's. It's like, ooh, I hope they're communists. if they're not supporting something that Stalin would do, ooh, I'm never buying a Big Mac from McDonald's again. But and I also find it funny, like this guy thinks that Steam is going to be severely affected because this very, very obscure game creator is taking off his very obscure games off of their platform. Is like, oh no, what is Steam gonna do now? What are the people who use Steam gonna do now? What games are they gonna play now? Ugh, all they've got now is Persona 4, Counter-Strike, Dark Souls 3, which is currently on sale as part of the Bandai Namco sale. Hey, speaking of Dark Souls 3, I'm currently streaming on Twitch now. Well, not currently at the moment of this video, but I'm now streaming on Twitch, and I was playing a little bit of Dark Souls 3, so if you want to see me on Twitch, head on over, give me a follow. If you want to subscribe, I don't mind, but, you know, a follow or review is good enough for me. Shameless plug is shameful. So at the end of this video, all I can say is I don't like when people virtue signal like this, try to make them out to be the good guys, because we can obviously see what you're doing. It's not particularly sincere. In the case of Tom King, I think he believes this is a good thing to do, but it just seems stupid. You don't need to make a big display out of this. Just be a good, decent human being. That's simple. It's not that hard. I've been Ozchris. If you liked the video, give a like, subscribe, all of that stuff. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Instagram, and you can follow me on Twitch now as well. Hey, great, I'm gonna have to edit that end screen to add Twitch there as well. Ugh, work, am I right? I've been Ozchris, and I will see you all in the next one.